Okay, so this isn't my normal fare, but I figured I would give something to the parents out there because we got a long weekend coming up, right? So you need something to distract those irritating kids. So, in that end, we have My Fairy Troublemaker. This is directed by Caroline Origer and it is written by Silja Clemens, Pamela Hickey, Dennis McCoy, and Greg Nix. It is produced by um, Meet Wokchek, uh, Ayana Schultz, Sebastian Runsk, Christine Parsi, Jean-Marie Musique, and Marc Mertens. Music is handled by Martin Lignon and Igmar Subakurib. It's edited by Claudio Hernandez. Production management is Laurent Pacuchu. Art direction, we have Frederick Defez and Nias Eckhart. With sound from Max Buya, Horg Elsner, Sasha Heine, and Lassie Kruger. Visual effects from Carsten Bloom, Thomas Christiansen, Ashita Mystery, and Konstantin Shora, Henny Seth, and Ben R. Zentek. Animation, we have Michael Hoke, Nadine Schwenek, Christopher Stute, Jessica Teger-Tubuff, Monica Tenhudfeld, Bettini Tycho, Lucas Van Borg, and Nina Wells. Our voice cast, we have Violetta, voiced by Jella Haase, Maxie, Lucy Carolan. We have Hannah, her mother, voiced by Myrti Schneider. Amir, her boyfriend, voiced by Tamu Calabash. His sons, Tariq, is voiced by Lucan Rusari. And Sammy is voiced by John Chadwick. There's Gwen, Violetta's little buddy, voiced by Alex Avanel. You have Yolando, voiced by Julian Moi. Luran, voiced by Stephen Benson. There's Rick, the developer, voiced by Tim Grobe. Camilla, voiced by Marion Van Stengel. Elderstein, voiced by Jean Limber-Broker. Yeah, that's probably the main lot, and I will just be butchering a whole lot of more names. So the gist of this story is we follow a cheeky fairy who gets lost in the human world. When Violetta catastrophically fails her tooth fairy exam, this mischievous fairy won't accept the result and sneaks into the world of humans, straight into the bedroom of 12-year-old Maxie. Discover true adventure as Maxie and Violetta team up to find the portal back to the fairy world before it's too late. So this is a Luxembourg German story. All right. And yeah, a load of fairies, right? So, you know, when you look, if you're a certain age, you're going to look at this and you're going to be like, yo, what is happening? Right. But right, I think it's colorful and vibrant. You know, it's got those character archetypes that little kids love. So I think it will work for them, right? It will work for those little kids. For an adult, I think the beginning has a kind of a start like Soul, right? Remember Soul back in 2020? Great film. Oh my days. That was such a great friggin' film. One of my favorite Pixar. Um, and when they're in the soul world, I'm talking about not the teacher, saxophonist, not that bit, but in the soul world with the souls practicing and all of. So it's kind of like that, but fairies, you know. So yeah, no, that's all fun and fine, and I think the kids will find that all funny. I think something that is a little bit, I don't know. It's just one of those things that's kind of like, yo, are we still doing this? Right? Because Violetta, you've got all the other fairies, and then you've got Violetta, who's, you know, overweight, let's say, right? And she just keeps on stuffing her face with cookies and chocolate. I'm like, do we have to do that? Right? There's so many things that you could do. You know what I mean? Maybe she's got her head in the clouds, right? A dreamer. Or she's got no interest in teeth, right? You could have so many different things as a crux to kind of take the story somewhere else. But it's always someone stuffing their face with things, right? And all the other fairies are essentially stick thin. So there's no deviation in size. It's not a lot of diversity, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just that, right? We got with Maxie, her and her mum live in the countryside. And she's like, oh, I've got to go to the city. There's no flowers in the city. Which, I mean, that's weird because there is, right? A lot of people have, you know, roof gardens, windowsill gardens, right? You got pot plants and all of that kind of thing. There's usually a little park in a city, you know, bigger parks, depending on which kind of city, how big it is, all of that kind of stuff. So I think you're like going that weird narrative that like city is bad, you know, if you're you know, not disciplined, you're fat, right? It's just that kind of stuff, and it's just like, we could have done something else here. Like obviously there's more green in the countryside than the city, so it could just be that, like, yo, I don't want to have to just do pot plants, I want my garden, right? That works, you know what I mean? So it's just those kind of odd little tropes that are a bit like, huh? But here's the thing, a little kid ain't thinking that, right? A little kid is just going to be like, oh, there's fairies. I knew there was a tooth fairy. Yo, okay. You know what I mean? But the one thing, toys? I never got a toy when I lost my tooth. Like, what's up with that? I feel I might have been lied to all these years. So I think I need to go call my parents. I mean, I forget. I think there was like 50p underneath the pillow, something like that. So I may have been shortchanged. I may have been shortchanged all these years, which, yeah, I'm kind of irritated by. But yeah, it's, look, it's not groundbreaking. Yeah, the animation is nice, right? Animation is nice and all of that kind of thing. It's, someone does something wrong, right? They break the rules, but there's not really any consequences for that, which again, a little bit weird with the story, right? There are some odd kind of things they're doing here, which, not maybe necessarily helpful for parents, but as I said, look, if you like stuff like Lyle Lyle Crocodile, right? If you like stuff like there was that Christmas elf thing the other year, you know what I mean? Just any weird kids cartoon, I would say, any of those kind of jams, right? This will speak to, like Super Mario's, it's just that kind of weird kids kind of thing, like Winx, right? The Winx Academy and the Magician's Elephant, right? It's that sort of stuff. The Amazing Maurice. So if your kids like that, you can probably happily take them to the cinema to see My Fairy Troublemaker. But yeah, be warned. After this, they may be saying, am I meant to get a present when I lose a tooth? Right? I warned you, people. So watch out for that one. Just tell them, oh, that's a German thing. Right? We don't do that in our country. Tell them that. That might work. But yeah, My Fairy Troublemaker.